Spotlight. So anybody who doesn't know, we actually spotlight an individual every single week who's really getting the job done, you know, standing out amongst their peers. So this week what I'm going to do, just to change things up a little bit, our spotlight this week, excuse me, she's out of the Morgantown office. She's a GA down in the Morgantown office. So basically, I've had the opportunity and the privilege to kind of get close with Miss Alex Albright over the past couple months here. We actually both qualified for a trip down to Simon's house in Florida a couple months ago. And, you know, in my conversations with her, I just realized what an absolute alpha female Alex Albright is. I mean, in every facet of the game, Alex can recruit. She can write a ton of business. Her quality is good. She's just a fantastic leader all the way around. Not just leadership, production, and I know that pretty much anything you ask of this of Alex is just, it'll get done. Definitely somebody that I looked up to coming up in the business was Alex Albright. So, you know, it's just my honor and privilege to be able to introduce her to you guys as this week's Spotlight. So come on up.
If you're in this, recognize the opportunity that you've been given and run with it. It's opportunity unlimited. We hear it every day, but really take that into consideration, what you have right in front of your fingertips. The rest that you do with it is up to you. Am I good? There you go. But I was just trying to think, I know we have a lot of new people here. Things that I would have liked to have heard coming up. I know when I started, I did write a lot of business. People, you know, talked about that, but it wasn't because I was better than anybody else. It was because everyone else would set 8 appointments, and I would set 12 because I knew I was new and I wanted to do just as good as they were. So what I did, everyone talks about collecting referrals, so on a play ball, how about I collect some referrals? So setting 12 appointments on my schedule every day, when you play the numbers, they don't fail. When you play them big, it definitely doesn't fail. So that's all I wanted to have for you guys is collect your referrals, listen to your upline. Shout out to Maddie G, Jesse Rennick, Eric Ebbett for always putting up with me, especially Matt. But that's all I got for you guys. Thank you.
Everybody give all these little applause.
Okay, it's time to go over some recognition for the week, some top performers. Today we're going to go over anybody in our agency who went 2K or above. That's our agency standard. There are some people here that went above and beyond. We have some top 3, they'll speak afterwards. But we're going to start, let's keep it at home base. What do you guys think? Let's start with South Fit. We're going to start with South Fit. This is everybody over 2,000. We're going to say their name and give them 2 claps. I always like to make sure we got this. We're going to say Joe Smith, 2,000. All right, I think we got it. All right, so starting in South Fit, Toby Painter, 2,000. All right, I'm going to flip it now. I'm going to go AOP that name. I think it makes more sense. 2,900, William Hart. 3,000, Jordan Albright. 3,200, BG. 3,400, Anthony Del Vecchio. 4,700, Michael May. And leading the pack, MGA from the front, 4,800, Andrew Wagner. Okay, 2,900, Lauren Quincenzi. Did I say that right? Quincenzi. This is tough.
She's a stud at too.
I never knew I heard this.
Remember the name.
Just
Remember the
now.
name.
Guys, I don't feel that bad though, because when I started, they always called me Avi Cartier, so, somebody got it right, so keep going until they say your name right. With 3,300, Heather Ward. 353, Queen B. 3,400, Fadera Taylor. 4,800, Matthew Seska. 2,900, Jumpsuit Cynic. And 5,300 from the front, Nicholas Myers. And we got one dog leading the way in our state college office, 4,500, Austin Sobolewski. All right, I'm going to move it over to Motown because I know they're in the house. Definitely in the house today. All right, so from the bottom up, with 2,000 for the week, Kyle Jordan. MGA from the front, 2,100, Eric Evans. 2,270, Joshua Dean. 2,800, Ethan Hunter. 2,800, Brittany Sofio. 2,900, Cody Alfaro. 2,960, Brittany Quaison. 3,200, Alicia Neiman. 3,277, Jeremy Morris. 3,300, Corey Clayton. 3,372, Ira Randall. 3,444, Kelson Stackpole. 3,500, Nicholas Alford. 3,600, Jordan Lacey. 3,700, Joshua Miller. Joshua Meister. And 4,772, Anthony Ruiz-Bella. If I skip your name, it's just the top 3 for the week. Let's send it all the way down to Hurricane, West Virginia. With 2,100 for the week, Brian Atkins. With 2,528, Dante Long. With 3,560, Brandon Russell. And leading the pack with 4,100, Joseph Bryant. And now let's take it to our Maryland office. With 2,100 for the week, Justin Whittington. With 2,525 for the week, Sharon Rogers. And now we're going to take it as south as we can go to our Florida office down in Jacksonville. So with 2,300 for the week, Christina Jones. With 2,458 for the week, Jamie Faulkner. With 2,772, Shalina Grisby. With 2,949, Sharon Smith. With 3,200, this girl is a bombshell, Davina Newsom. And everyone else who got here is top 3 for the week. So give it up for everyone over TJ. Okay, now we're going to go over our top 3 for the week. To be in 3rd place, wow, 2 of these people came from Jacksonville. No wonder you guys had a killer week, Jacksonville. But for the number 3 place, you'd have to be at 5,400 ALP to beat this person. In the number 3 place from the Florida Jacksonville office, Lance Eldell. In the number 2 spot, hailing from Morgantown, West Virginia. You actually heard this girl talk, always doing it big, with 5,700 for the week. The number 2 spot, Alex Albright. But the number 1 spot for this week, with a Wall of Fame performance from Jacksonville, Florida, with $8,050 in premium, Nebby Bennett. Come up and speak. Let's start it in Jacksonville. Lance Eldell, can you start us off and let us know what made you special? You got a phone set up, John?
played mine with Wayne Simple, starting with Ali, Christian, Kiera, Christy, Yao here. These guys really, man, they really coach us down here in Jacksonville, really show us how to win. They're going to push you to the limit, but, you know, all the time I tell the guys, do it to me, it's definitely worth it. Perseverance as well. I mean, this perseverance will run this thing. I've been through a lot of adversity over my last 2 months here. Came back 2 weeks and, rode 5,500. But I knew I had it in me, come back to Christian and I just sat down and talked to them, just being coachable. You know, those guys coached me up, put me back out in the field, and I was ready to go. And I'd like to thank Nitty, that's been here for a minute. She pushed me to the limit, that we do. I was, you know how that went, she's number one, so. But I'd like to thank everybody, thank my upline, that's all I got for you guys, that's all. Great job, man.
That's all. Great job, Lance. And obviously, we're going to have our number 2 producer for the week come up. You guys already heard her speak, but Alex, you can tell everybody what made your week special this week.
So really what made our week special was we're on a good referral chain. Referrals are always where it's going to be. Referrals is what makes your job easy. If you want to ride around, have fun, these people know you're coming. It was a holiday weekend. We had cases of beer for all of our workers.
Hey!
But, have fun. I think everyone kind of forgets that when we're going on our day-to-day grind and you have a flat tire and your girlfriend's mad at you, your boyfriend's mad at you, but put all that stuff out the window. You're here to work, you're here to do your job. If you're on referrals, it makes your life easy. It's a piece of cake. So from your referrals, get referrals, and we'll be good to go.
I don't think people understand, having a Wall of Fame performance is not always the easiest thing. It takes work, it takes commitment, it takes focus, sacrifice, it takes doing the job and not making excuses but making adjustments. And Demi, I know you're fairly new to this business, but you had a hell of a week, so I want everybody to make sure you get on your feet when I say this one more time. With 8,000 for the week, Demi, make it!
Right now, but just want to say shout out to all the coaches. Between Albie and Kira getting on me over and over again, and me letting me nag them, and everybody just pushing as a team to try to be better every day. And then pretty much just being coachable. Like I literally listen to Simon and Kiefer all day, every day, and just being able to have that. The resources, and then also being able to implement what I learned in the workshop through the ones we have here in the office, and then the 6 month workshops. But that's pretty much what's really done it, just making sure that I just follow the routine and stick to the system. So.
Today, bro. Love it. So, gang, without further ado, we're going to bring up another gentleman to go over some more recognition today. And this guy's been at agency for a while, but he's going to be running this for you guys today. We might know him as Jesse. If you didn't know, his real name is Ronald. All right.
The names that you see on this list next week are going to be the names that you see high on the ALP and high on the income report. So you'll also notice every week, typically the same names end up on here. So seek these people out, ask them for help, pick their brains. You just heard Alex say it's all about referrals, and two in Florida say the same thing. So let's start with some activity. These are the individuals that got over 12 sits. I'm going to say the number of sits, the name, and we'll give them 3 claps. All right, instead of 2. Name, sits, name, 3 claps. All right, with 12 sits, we have Brandon Russell. 12 sits, Vincent Hannah. 12 sits, Mark Opel. 12 sits, Cameron Watson. 13 presentations, Crystal Triplett. 13 presentations, Mike Cedro. 13 sits, James Nielsen. 14 sits, 14 sits, Alexis Forte. 15 sits, leading the way, 2-way tie, we have Tara Honey. And we have Shalina Grisby. Give the sits guys a round of applause. Top referral collectors in the agency. Top referral collector in the agency, over 60 again. This is a holiday week, still out there, getting it done and getting the results as far as referrals go. So with 62 referrals, we have Brittany Hawley. 63 referrals, Andrew Mazzulla. 63 referrals, Joe McAllister. 64 referrals, Mike Cedro. 68 referrals, Shalina Grisby. 76 referrals, Matt Brodman. 90 referrals, Jamar Jones. 109 referrals, Andrew Ducey. 125 referrals, Christina Chappelle. And leading the way with 128 referrals down in Hurricane, Mr. Kashif Hershey. So top referrals sold for the week. With 4 referrals sold, Anthony Lacaria. 5 referrals sold, Keidra Taylor. With 6 referrals sold, Dante Long. Leading the way with 7 referral sales last week, Terrence Northley. And lastly, we're going to go over what the top referral ALP individuals were. With 3,007 ALP from referral sales, we just heard from them. Lance Eldell. 3,307 ALP from referral sales. We just heard from her twice, Ms. Alex Albright. With 3,457 ALP in referral sales, Terrence Northley. 3,585 referral sales, Dante Long. And with over 6,000 ALP off of referral sales, Ms. Keidra Taylor. Like they're on the everybody. Keidra Taylor. Alright, one more thing before we move on. I'm going to go to the top office quotas for last week. The offices that were over 100% of quota, we had 2 offices over 100% of quota. With 152% of quota, which was second place in quota, but they were number 1 in total ALP, and they are always number 1 in my heart. Morgantown. They've got a great thing going down there. Mike was just telling me their culture's amazing. Greg and Aldi and Christian been rocking it. 159% of quota, Jacksonville, Florida. Without any further ado, I would like to bring up the person that will be be closing the meeting for us. It's been a hectic couple of weeks when we actually became a father twice over the last couple of weeks. First of all, with Inspiring Minds, Youngstown grand opening. Beautiful daughter Sienna was born as well.
Notes!
Thumbs up first, can you guys hear me? Jacksonville, Maryland, can you hear me? You got thumbs? Alright, so, first thing is, like Jesse said, you know, it was almost a storybook, you know, for me to have the birth of Inspiring Minds, which anybody that's been close to me for any period of my life knows that one of my goals and dreams was to start a youth program in Youngstown. And it started out with just words into a real vision, into real action, because I had so many people like you behind me. You know, I joked around a little bit at the first event that we had in Pittsburgh for Youngstown, which was crazy because not only is it a different city, but it's a different state. And we had 200 people from Pittsburgh, Maryland, and other areas supporting a different state and a different city's youth. It really shows the heart of everybody in here. So, you know, I think that day I told everybody it was like a little kid going to his first small Little League baseball or football game when you feel like you're playing in the World Series or Super Bowl and you look up in the stands and it's just your family. And as you get older, you know, you start to play in front of more and more people. But in the beginning, it's just grandma. It's just your uncle, just your mom. So in the beginning, before we were in the front page of the Vindicator this past week for Inspiring Minds, before we had Coach Trussell and Mo Pelini and Maurice Claret and everybody showing up, you guys showed up. It was just a vision. So I just want to say shout out to you and thank you. Next week I'm going to be playing some videos and sharing some information. And I want to get a pipeline of volunteers down there on a weekly basis, at least every other week, of some of our leaders and managers. So that happened last week, and then on Sunday at 4:22 p.m., 7 pounds 4 ounces, was my daughter Sienna. And I lucked out, you know, because I got a good wife at home, and you know, those that were around me know the first day I was back in the gym, 5:30 in the morning, first day back from the hospital, back home, holding her at night, feeding her, changing diapers. You know, I was the guy like, I ain't changing no diapers. See, that was like my first negotiation. I used everything. I learned any playbook or sales thing in a decade. And I closed her, and I don't want to do no diapers. I'll do anything. I'll put the dishwashers in, dishwasher, like whatever you need to do. And I've already got 4 diapers. On to the message. So, guys, 2 quick things before I get on to the message is August 17th. Reminder, Russ already covered this. That's $1 million week. We have some new family members here today for training class and from other states. And so I want to make sure that you understand the relevance of $1 million in a week. If you do the research, the company that we're a part of and that we share Opportunity Unlimited with has been around for over 60 years, older than the majority of us has ever been alive in this room. They were purchased almost 20 years ago by Torchmark Corporation. Torchmark has been a part of Forbes Platinum Top 500, 600 companies to work for year in, year out on the New York Stock Exchange. They consistently at over $50 a share. Our sister company, Globe, owns the Texas Rangers baseball stadium in Texas. It's a big deal. And for our company to make up over 40% of Torchmark, and for us to be what they have told us is the #1 agency, they've never seen anything like it. We currently hold the United States of America weekly record all of that is, we've only been here 7 years. 7 years from scratch. And I know I got a lot of athletes in the room. Imagine if you just started a baseball team, or just started a basketball program, or a football program, and you went on and just beat Alabama in your 7th year. It just took you 7 years from no scholarships to going undefeated and beating Alabama in the national championship like Ohio State just did in 7 years. That's what just happened here in a short 7 years. But what we're doing is that there's one agency that has been around for about 40-some years that holds the international record. So we hold the United States of America record. We don't hold the international record. And nobody's ever done $1 million in a week ever in the history of the company. We are secretly doing that August 17th. Key word there? Secret. One more time. Key word there? Secret. Okay, I need you to keep this on the low. Keep this on. Don't say nothing. Don't tell anybody. I don't want nobody to try it before we get there. None of that stuff. Okay, so we're going to be the first ones to do it, and we're not letting anybody know that it's getting ready to be done. And then the last thing before I get into the message is I wanted to recognize, it would be a shame if I went through this whole thing and didn't recognize that we landed somebody extremely special today for this agency. And again, I apologize for those of you that are that are not sports fans. You'll get the drift. If you're not sports fans, if you like something different, gymnastics, it would be like having the best person in gymnastics, one of the best in the world, okay, come do gymnastics for you, okay, or the best in tennis, or the best. What I'm going to use is it would be like getting a LeBron or a Tom Brady or somebody that has already won titles. We actually got the blessing of having somebody that I've had a relationship with and a lot of respect for in this company that started his career in New York City and was the #1 MGA in the entire company. So, some of you that are new, that might not mean nothing to you. Could have been the number one lawnmower pusher for all you know. You don't know what the MGA is. You'll get it. You'll get it through time. But MGA, we say when you sign your MGA contract, it's like signing your NFL contract. It's one of the biggest contracts you can have here. You can literally make $150,000 as an MGA, and me and you won't be on great terms for 12 months and all over you, because that's almost a struggling MGA. That's how special that contract is. And I've never had anybody in my agency. We've had a lot of people get on stage as an MGA, but we've never had the #1 MGA internationally for the company. And we just drafted one in Jason in Maryland. So some of you will have an opportunity to meet him. I'm excited because I'm no longer the shortest person in leadership. He's shorter than me. So welcome, Jason Black. Close the meeting. And if nobody claps for me, I know Kadira will. Kadira got my back, right? You got me? Okay. So the 3 S's today, and this is more geared towards people not in leadership, because you guys have been with me for a while. So this is more geared towards new folks, new training class. First thing is be a student. Be a student of the game. In order to be great, you got to first learn how to be great, which takes a great deal of humility in order to do so. Because no matter where you come from, you have to start off as a great student here. So the more success you've had somewhere else, the more chance of success you have, the more chance you have to be successful here if you can leave your ego out there. And this is something that's been great for me, training martial arts for 6 years, is it doesn't matter if I drive a Bentley. That doesn't help me when I'm getting choked. It doesn't matter how much money I got in my bank account. I started all the way from the bottom, and I'm working my way back up to the top. So I need you guys to check your egos at the door in order to be great. I need you to become a student of this game. And in order to be a student, you got to be 100% coachable. And in order to be 100% coachable, you got to be humble. It means that I'm willing to learn martial arts from somebody that don't even really speak great English, Brazilian, and doesn't make a lot of money. Our essays make more money than my coach. But I have to ask for permission to get a drink. It takes a great deal of humility in order to be great in any game. So I need you to be coachable. That means you may need to be coached. Gentlemen, you may need to take direction from a female and do it with a smile. That means people that are a little bit more seasoned in business, you might have a little bit more experience. Humble yourself. You may need to learn from somebody 22 years old, 23 years old who's kicking butt like Mike Russell. You might need, it doesn't matter their age, it doesn't matter their sex, their gender, their color, their religious beliefs. All that matters is if they can ball in their field. If you're great in your field, I'll follow. So I need you to be coachable. In the first place, to be coachable and be a student, everybody always wants to know what to study. First is master your script. Verbatim. Second thing is master your playbook. You will have free time around here. What you do with your free time is going to determine if you can pass up the people that you're in competition with. Because if everybody's practicing basketball at the same time, it's the kid that shows up in the gym with the lights off and shoots 100 free throws, 500 free throws that ends up being great. It's the wrestler that shoots 500 double A's a day that ends up being great 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 3 years down the road. What do you do when nobody else is watching? Carry your playbook with you, your agent playbook, and master it. You're already ahead of 99% of the people that you're trying to chase. And then what do you learn outside? So your script, your playbook, and then what do you learn outside of your script and your playbook? If you're trying to be great in sales, my goddaughter's back there, she want to learn how do we feed the 2 hermit crabs we just got. What are we supposed to do? I said, Google it. Google it. We live in the world of Google. You Google anything and find it out. So if you want to get better at something, Google it and order it. Order that CD. Order that book. We have a college on wheels in our vehicle while we're driving. If you want to be better in sales, I suggest to you to get a sales audio book and put it in your college on wheels. If you want to be great at referrals, get a referral audio book and put it in your college on wheels. Second thing, the second S. First one was student. Second one, separate yourself. 5% of America earns 6 figures a year. And I'm just going to use this as an example. We could say X amount of Americans get a black belt in jiu-jitsu. We could say X amount of Americans graduate with high honors. We could say X amount of Americans graduate and they can become a doctor. I'm going to stick with the financial statistics that I know. And that's 5% of America earns 6 figures a year. 1% of America makes over $500,000 a year. If I took a raise of hands on how many of you would like to be a part of that 1%, I probably would have the majority of you raise your hand. Okay? So think about this. And I'll say this till I die. If you want something that 1% of the world gets, then you got to do something that 99% of the world ain't willing to do. Are you with me?
Yes.
Let's count, guys. You guys with me back there, all 3 of you with me? Okay. Because what I'm trying to tell you is that when you do the things that you do in order to be great, people are going to tell you that they're going to think that you're weird.
They're going to tell you that you're obsessed. And I don't care if you're trying to be great at golf. I don't care if you're trying to be a great chef. You're trying to be a good wrestler. You're trying to be a good basketball player. Or you're trying to be good in business. People are going to tell you that you're obsessed. People are going to look at you like you're weird. I've been weird every step of my career here. People have thought I was weird. My family thought I was weird because I missed out on a lot of stuff the first couple of years. People thought I was weird because I was trying to start a youth program and I was knocking on doors in the rain in the middle of Youngstown for days on end with a pregnant wife at home. People are always going to look at you like you're weird if you're doing something outside of the other 99%. So if you don't get comfortable being a leader and stepping out into your own skin, you're going to be victim and slaves of what the other 99% of the world tries to tell you to do. Am I getting too deep, or you guys still with me? Seriously?
Yes.
Okay. Because when I first started in this business, my own family members, except for my mother, I got one of those mothers that I could have blew up half of 228, and they could have caught me on videotape, and she would have said, "What did you do to upset my son?" People never do anything like that, unless you did something to make him do that. So outside of my mom, who had my back 100% no matter what, every single other person in my life told me that I was crazy. You didn't need a college degree to do this. There's no way you're going to make $70,000 your first year, like they're telling you. I made $187 my first year. There's no way you're going to be able to do this. There's no way. And guess what? I'm not mad at none of them. All of them are great people. These are people that I just had over my house this past weekend. I love them all. The problem lies in this, and it's so easy conceptually. Okay, here's the deal. We try to get advice sometimes from people that we love, which is good. I'm not knocking anybody's family or friend, but here's the problem. I got some people in my inner circle that are great in business, but I have received zero marriage advice from them because a couple of them are on their fourth husband or wife, divorce. Not knocking anybody. My grandfather's on his fifth wife now. Bless his heart, he's 77. He's awesome. He's the man. I love him. He's a great person. Not getting no marriage advice from my man. I get it. Great athlete though. I get advice on that. Not going to get any advice in that picture. Okay. So the problem is when you start to ask people relationship advice that don't have a successful relationship themselves. Like I'm trying to seek out people that have been married 20, 30 years to give me marriage advice. Not the millionaires that I know driving Rolls Royces, unless they're like Jim Surace, who been married 30 years and he drives a Rolls Royce. That's the one I really want. I want the advice from. But what happens is people start to try and get business advice from people that are making $50,000 a year, $30,000 a year. Not knocking anybody, I'm just saying, be careful who you get your advice from. Be willing to and open to walking alone. You got to separate yourself. And you got to protect yourself from your circle. Watch your inner circle. Your inner circle in this business will make you or break you. I lost more friends on my way up. As a young person, it was 10 years ago, I wouldn't go out and party with everybody on Fridays and Saturdays because I was so focused on work. So I lost a bunch of friends that wasn't really my friends because they didn't understand the sacrifice. On your way up, then to having a family and having a wife and a child and all that stuff, I lost some friends that only wanted to do single people stuff with me, and I was not going to put myself in the fight. Like I trust myself, I pride myself on discipline. Lord knows, and Mikey Rustin and Brody knows, I got some discipline to me, right? I'm disciplined, but I'm not going to keep putting myself in Vegas by myself 4 or 5 times a year. I'm just not going to put myself in that situation 100 times and then give myself a chance of not being the person that I was called to be. So what I'm trying to tell you is that you got to be willing to separate yourself in order to be part of that 1%. Decide what percent you want to be a part of. Find some people that are a part of that and separate yourself mentally from the other 99%. Understand and accept you're going to be a little bit weird. Last thing, struggle and sacrifice. Student, separate yourself, and the last one is struggle and sacrifice. There is no success without struggle and sacrifice. And typically, they will parallel themselves. Easy come, easy go. It's in Proverbs. It's in business books. It's in books written 2,000 years ago and 2,000 seconds ago. There's a price tag on everything. And there's a price tag on things that are extremely expensive, and typically those things don't go on discount. I borrowed this off of somebody. I'm not going to say I created this, but I seen a video that talked about try to walk into the Rolls-Royce dealership and tell them that you'd like to negotiate a big discount on a brand new Rolls-Royce and see what they tell you. Try walking in Louis Vuitton and negotiating a price because you're getting two. Can I get a 3 for 1 or maybe half off on the second one? Try to negotiate things that are extremely expensive or high in value. You're not typically going to negotiate high quality things. So what we got to understand is if you have a high price tag, if there's something that you want, it may not happen, but this week all I've been doing is holding Sienna, telling her that she's going to go to Harvard. She's going to go to one of these Ivy League schools. I'm already talking to her about it. But I do know, Lord willing, as long as I'm breathing, she'll have the options. For sure. What we got to understand is that the greater the reward, the greater the sacrifice. The greater the reward, the greater the struggle. Do me a favor. I've been in the game 10 years. I've given my heart and soul to this company for 10 years. The people that I'm blessed and privileged to be around in leadership and to lead, I feel like they know I give them my heart even after most of my dreams and goals have come true, because their goals and dreams haven't come true. Nothing excites me more than watching Michelle Crow walk down the aisle and get married, and knowing that I played a small part in watching that progress and happen. Those are some of the happiest days of my life. When I watch the leaders around me have kids, get married, buy houses, and I can play a small role. I'm telling you, I'm 1 week out. People ask me, how's it going? You getting sleep? I ain't getting that much sleep. And I see people yawning on me here today. Yawning. Yawning on me. Don't yawn on me, please. I don't think I've slept a good longer than 3-4 hours in the last week or 8 days, and I'm prepared to do it for the next 20 years. But until I retire, I'm going to give you my A game. And all I'm asking for you is while I'm trying to give you what I got, try not to yawn on me. Crushes me when I'm speaking, crushes my energy and my vibe while I'm speaking. So I'm closing, all right, I'm closing with, you've got to understand that there's going to be some amounts of sacrifice to get you to where you need to go. Just like anything else. This guy in the green shirt back here, he built like, excuse my language, brick shit house, okay? I guarantee you that didn't get built because he said, I really want to be built like this. Probably took some sacrifice, maybe a little bit of eating some things didn't want to eat, maybe lifting some weights when you didn't feel like wanting to lift them. Okay? They don't make hair like Russell like this. You see, the sacrifice of Trevor had to go through that thing right there, and the tan, that takes work. Right? There's a certain amount of sacrifice that it takes to get things that you want in life. So I'm going to ask you, what is it in your mind and in your heart that you want for you or for somebody else? Because you've got to be willing to make a sacrifice that equals that life that you want to have. When I go back and I look at my career at American Income, people talk to me about how did this happen, how did all that happen. I wasn't the smartest. I didn't come in with no experience. How did it all happen? Because I had a vision of a youth program. I had a vision for when my kids were born. I had a vision for when I had a wife, the way I wanted that to look at home. I had a vision for what I wanted my mom's life to look like for the rest of her life. So then all of a sudden when I got a flat tire, and they didn't even know they were depending on me. I knew they would one day. I need you to be willing to sacrifice and struggle. And this ain't just for here. Anybody know anybody that owns a McDonald's? Franchise of the McDonald's? You know Mr. Washington Canfield? Okay. There's a guy from Youngstown with tons of McDonald's, last name Washington. What I've learned is if you own a McDonald's franchise, do you know where you start out? If you want to own a McDonald's franchise? You start out making the fries. You start out working the window. You start out serving burgers and fries. Your paycheck is $300 a week after Uncle Sam takes his taxes out. I've talked to people about this. You have to go to McDonald's University. You got to go through all these different things that may seem like it's beneath you in order to own a franchise, in order to get to where you want to be. Struggle and sacrifice. The struggle and the sacrifice will weed out the weak. The struggle and the sacrifice will weed out those that don't really want it that bad. So I've nicknamed the month of July, what? No excuse July. No excuse July. And it's woken me up every day with no excuse July. None. I'll get up, I'll feed the baby at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'll help, whatever you need me to do, boom. Change diapers, I'm out the door. Praying with Brody, watching the locker room, lifting weights, showering, shaving, boom, at the office. At Inspiring Minds in Youngstown, back, go to jiu-jitsu, hold my baby, take my wife on a date. No excuses, it's all getting done. No excuses. There is no excuses. If you want success, you got to lose excuses. Joe, if you want excuses, you got to lose success. You choose, but this is no excuse to lie. So walk through every day that way, holding yourself responsible, because when you start to realize mentally how much control you have over your world, over this world, you're gonna be blown away at the real secret of this deal. Spiritually, if you're right, you give God glory first, in my personal opinion. When that's all straight and taken care of, you literally got all the power mentally to do anything it is that you want to do. If you tell yourself you're tired when you get up in the morning because the baby's been crying, then that's what your body's going to react to. But if you tell yourself, I'm blessed, I'm great, yesterday I didn't sell, but I'm getting better, I'm going to get there. If you tell yourself these things, you're going to get there. What I can promise you is you've got great leaders, people here that have walked the path. Chuck, how old's your son? 10. Chuck has a 10-year-old son. How long have you been here with us?
4 years.
Huh?
4 years.
4 years. Married, right?
Right.
Married, 10-year-old son, been with us 4 years. Walked through it already. Already sacrificed. You're going to see people. Congratulations. Congratulations. I'm watching them get engaged. I'm FaceTiming your girl. FaceTiming your fiance. I'm loving it. So we're watching people that are going to walk you through. I only let people that are going to walk you through how to get to the promised land. They've had to walk through the same path that you're going through. That's something that I loved about this business. It's not like they were transferred from Fifth Third Bank to PNC Bank because they had XYZ degree. Their degree here was the school of going through the process like everybody else. So I want to thank you guys today for listening, for being here. It always excites me when I can have Morgantown in the house and everybody, all our little group, everybody together. Welcome training class. Welcome a few interns that are in the house. Welcome to the family. We're looking for some game changers. We know this is the second half to our business year, and those of you that are sports fans, you know what happens in the second half. Second half is when we turn it up. Okay, so let's turn it up, guys.
Let's